Hello students, a very good morning. So today again let's discuss further in our chapter unit and dimension. The next topic is errors in measurement or errors of measurement after the discussion of dimensional analysis. So as up to now what we have discussed, how to measure some of the physical quantity, then after measurement whether our measurement is correct or not, how can we do it? We are doing it by comparing it with the standard quantities or standard measured value. So if suppose some of the experiment you have done and you have calculated acceleration due to gravity g, and g has value on the surface is what, 9.8 meter per second square. So this is the known experimental concept, but as you have calculated, suppose you have obtained 9.5 meter per second square. So you are seeing your value is less than the experimental standard value, means some of the errors are occurred here. So error concept in measurement arise whenever we are measuring something and that time its value is not exactly equal to our standard value. So that time we can say in our measurement there are some errors. So simple errors are, I think, now clear. So difference in the true value and the measured value of a quantity is called error of measurement. So you can take the difference, you can find out what kind of percentage of errors you will have. Next, if you will see types of errors now. So there are three types of errors basically we are observing. That is, first of all, systematic error. Second one is random error. Third one is cross error. So let's see them one by one. The first error we have, that is systematic error. So, in the case of systematic errors, if you will see, first of all, its definition. Then its definition is, if you will see, not actually. These are those errors that tends to be in one direction, either positive or negative. In fact, the causes of systematic errors are known. Therefore, each such error can be minimized. So this kind of errors we can minimize their causes. We know and why they are arising. We can just easily detect them. We can minimize them. Here, if you will see how many types of systematic errors we have, then there are certain types of systematic errors. First type of systematic error is instrumental error. So instrumental error, how can it arise? It arises from the errors due to imperfect design or manufacture or calibration of the measuring instruments. So whenever we are designing the instruments, whenever we are calibrating our instruments, whenever we are manufacturing our instrument, that time this kind of errors can be there. Suppose you have made some of the balance and one of the balance is little tilted, then that is called instrumental, you can say, error. And if you will measure anything, then that will be wrong from there. So I think example is now clear. Next one, after the instrumental error, if you have to just correct the instrumental error, suppose, then how can you correct? You can correct its design, you can correct the calibration, means the controlling of the system you can do, and also in manufacturing defect you can reduce, and this effect will be automatically, or error will be automatically minimized. Next type of error is imperfection in experimental techniques or procedure. So number of experimental techniques we are using, if we will adopt the wrong technique or imperfect technique, then that time errors will be always in our all of the experiments. Like suppose, for example, to determine the temperature of human body, thermometer placed under the armpit will always keep the temperature lower than the actual value of the body temperature. So if we are using thermometer lower the armpit, then that time it is not providing us the correct temperature. So again, like if you will just see the buoyancy error, that in weighting is usually ignored. So here if some types of actually errors we are ignoring also. It's like sometimes we are ignoring frictions, sometimes we are ignoring tensions. So these kind of errors are also arise in our measurement. Clear? Like while measuring the acceleration due to gravity, we are neglecting that the value of gravity is changing with the altitude or gap. So due to that errors are arising. So this is called the imperfection in techniques or procedure that we are adopting. Third one, personal errors. These are also the types of systematic errors we are talking here, and that can be minimized also. So personal errors arise due to inexperience of the observer. If our observer that is performing the experiment or that don't know how to calibrate the any instrument, then that time personal errors occurs. So for example, like lack of proper setting of apparatus, reading of instrument without setting it properly, if you will do the observation, then that will provide you errors in the measurement. Clear? Now next one, errors due to external cause. So external cause like if temperature, pressure, humidity, wind velocity that is changing, that time that can affect the experiments also. Next one, list count error. So list count is what? The smallest value that can be measured by any of the device that is known as its list count. So if you haven't seen the list count properly, you haven't calculated the list count properly, then that time the errors can be in your measurement, because all over the value that you have measured, that will have always error due to its list count. So these are the systematic errors that can be minimized by improving, you can say, experimental techniques, selecting better instruments, and removing personal errors. Like you have to be experienced for that, then this kind of error will be automatically removed or minimized. So first error we have discussed now. The second error, let's see, random errors. So in random errors, what kind of errors we have? So these errors are errors which occur irregularly due to unpredictable variation in experimental condition. So suppose there are some unpredictable variations and irregular variations occur, then random errors obtained. So next one, there are random or you can say the random errors are very random with respect to sign and size. That is, sometimes random errors may be positive, other time it may be negative. Similarly, sometimes random errors may be big, other time they will be small. So errors are continuously changing here, that is called now random error. So here if you will see why they are arising, so these error may arise due to random or unpredictable variation. Just now I have told you, in experimental conditions like temperature, pressure, voltage supply, mechanical variation. So these all are suddenly changing, increasing or decreasing. So with increase or decrease the random variations we are observing in our experiment, that will provide you sometimes better values, sometimes lower values. So also there may be due to the personal errors, that is if you are using your hands are vibrating, or sometimes of errors like personal errors can also arise the random errors. Next one, we are also calling these kinds of errors as chance errors. Means if you will see, suppose a person is reading, his eyes is not working properly, that time chance errors may be also possible. This is a random error also. So here random error, how can you just minimize it? So these kind of errors can be minimized by repetition of observation, and last times if you will do the number of mathematical calculations, you are taking arithmetic means of all observations. Like if you are doing any experiment, then these kind of errors if you, can arise if you will do only one time any experiment. That's why it is always told you to perform experiment 3 to 4 times, so that if you will take mean of all that, then that will provide you nearly accurate value. So there will be the less chances of the error. So random error can be simply minimized by repetitions of the observations or experiments. Next and last one, that is gross errors. Now let's see what are the gross errors. So these errors arise on account of sheer carelessness of the observer. Means if our observer is not taking any of the observation carefully, then that time these errors are arising. For example, if you will take reading of an instrument without setting it properly. Like if you haven't calibrated your device and you are starting to taking readings, and that time obviously there will be the gross error. Next one, taking the observation wrongly without caring for the source of errors or precautions. Like some of the precautions and source of errors are always maybe there in instruments, then you have to take care of them also. If you haven't taken care, then that time errors can be arise obviously. Next one, recording the observation wrongly. So if you have seen the wrong readings, then that time you can have the errors. Next one, using wrong values of the observations in calculation. So calculative error you can say if you are doing. So these are all due to only observer. These gross errors can be obtained. So basically these errors if you have to minimize, then whenever your observer is very sincere and mentally alert. So when you are doing experiments, if you are not mentally alert and you are not sincere, then that time gross errors may be arise here. So these are all three types of errors that we have always, and how can we minimize it, I have told you. Now let's see some types of mathematical errors here, then how to calculate actually errors here. So the first type of error, that is absolute error. So let's see what is absolute error. So absolute error is the measurement of a physical quantity is the magnitude of difference between the true value and the individual measured value of the quantities. Suppose for example a physical quantity be measured n times. Let the measured value will be A1, A2, A3 and so on, An. These are number of values that we have observed now. So the arithmetic means of these values you can calculate by Am is equal to A1 plus A2 so on plus An. This is divided by n. Clear? Next one, if you will see now the absolute errors, if you have to calculate it, then absolute errors are represented by something delta, and in individual measurement we are calculating these errors, and if this is the mean value, then obviously this will have more accurate value. This is near about the true value. So mean values are taken as the true value. So you are just taking the difference of mean value and this one. So the difference between this one will provide you the value of the absolute error. So these are the methods to calculate absolute error. Like in second experiment, as you have obtained A2 value, so this difference is equal to A2, that will be delta A2 is the error in second instrument. Similarly, as we have just taken observation n times, in an nth observation you can calculate your error. So these are all the errors that we have calculated, and finally you can take also the mean of errors, but in absolute error is individual errors that is measured in our experiments. Next, second type of error is mean absolute error. So mean absolute error is what? Just I am saying you to take mean of these errors. So if you will take the mean of these errors, then you can obtain mean absolute error. So mean error is just written as delta A mean. This is equal to now if you will write it delta A1 means error observed in first one, then second, then nth one, then that's why the number of errors are here, and so you can divide it by n. This is called the mean absolute error here. So now next one, if you have to write any final value here, so the final value you can write for any of the measurement, that is what will be the true value of any quantity that you have measured, and you have find individual errors this one, and you have find mean error this one, you have find mean of AM. So the true value A will be equal to mean value plus minus this delta A mean, because this value can be greater or lower than the true value. So here we are writing plus minus. So this is the way to write the true value of any physical quantity. So by number of experiments we are calculating individual errors, then mean error, then mean, and we are just adding them, then that's why we can calculate the true values of the experiment. After this one, let's see now fractional error or relative error. So this is the way to calculate actually errors here. So second types of error is relative error. Relative, or we are also calling it fractional error. So let's see what is relative or fractional error. So relative error or fractional error of measurement is defined as the ratio of mean absolute error to the mean value of the quantity measured, and it is denoted by delta. We are actually denoting it by something delta, you can use it, or delta A just gets denoted. So just now I have told you this is the ratio of mean absolute error delta A mean to the mean value of measurement. So we have just now calculated delta A mean and A mean. So you can just find out the absolute relative error or fractional error by this one. And now percentage error, next one, what is? So if you will take the percentage of this relative or fractional measurement by just multiplying 100 in this one, so this is called percentage relative error. How much percentage of error in your experiment has, you can calculate now. So for example, let's take one example here with this one. Suppose an experiment is saying the refractive index of water is found to have the values 1.29, 1.33, 1.34, note this, 1.35, 1.32, 1.36, 1.30 and 1.33. So here if I will write these all values, so let me just write first of all. We have measured the refractive index, we have obtained number of times we have done the experiment and we have obtained these values. 1.33, 1.34, 1.35, 1.32, 1.36, 1.30 and 1.39. So these are all our experimental values and we have obtained number of times we have done experiment. So you can see now you have done 8 times the experiment. So let's calculate, so the question is calculate mean value, absolute error and the relative error and then percentage error. So all the things that we have discussed we have to calculate up to now. So here first of all, if we have to calculate the mean value, UM, then you can add them and you can divide them by 8. So just add them and divide, it is obtained as 1.33 if you will take the round off value. So this is the mean value of the observation. Simple, add them and divide by 8. This is the way to mean value. Next one, absolute value, absolute errors. If you have to find out absolute errors, then for that one, as absolute error is calculated in every possible one. So delta mu1, suppose this is delta mu1, so you can calculate it 1.33 minus of 1.29. So this value is obtained as 0.04. Next one, similarly delta mu2 you can calculate, this will be 1.33 minus of 1.33. Here error is 0. Delta mu3, this is equal to 1.33 minus of 1.34. So this error is equal to minus 0.01. So in the same way you can calculate the errors, and I am just taking the last one. are all errors that we have obtained. In between you can calculate by yourself mu4, mu5, mu6 and mu7. Just calculate that. These are the absolute errors that we have find out. Now the next one we have to find, that is the mean absolute error. So mean absolute error is what? Mean absolute error, that is delta mu m mean. This is equal to, or sorry, delta mu mean you can write also. You have to add all these errors, then divide them by 8. So if you will solve divide them by 8, then this value is obtained nearly equal to 0.02. So just add them after calculation and divide it by 8, you can obtain this value now. The last one we have to calculate the relative error. So relative error is what? Relative error is mean absolute error to the mean value, that is 1.82. And if you will solve this one, then you can find out its value, and its value is obtained as 0.02. Now last one, percentage error. So percentage error is what? Exactly one thing here. We are observing this value is near 4.5. So in the simple format, you can just approximate value you can write. Now if you will calculate percentage error, last one. So percentage error is what? Relative error into 100, this percentage. If you will multiply this one, then you can find out in your experiment 1.5% error is. So this is our error of the experiment. So simple, you can see number of experiments are greater than that time, error chances of the error will be reduced here. So this is called the repetitions to reduce the random errors here. So this question is actually now here. You can calculate number of these quantities by or errors by yourself for the number of problems. Now next one, after this, let's see progression or combination of errors. So first of all, as in the combination of error, let's take the example error in a sum. So suppose we have a quantity that is measured, that is equal to x is equal to a plus b. This is a quantity that we have. Then we have to find out what will be the error in the measurement of x if we know error in the measurement of a and b individually. So if suppose delta A is the error of measurement in A, delta B is error of measurement in the B here. So you can just write down the measurement, the error in the absolute error if you can find out by simple delta A plus delta B. So error in a sum. It can be simply find out by taking the all absolute errors, their addition if you will take, then it can provide you the value of this one. And one more thing, again this can be positive or negative depending on the situation, whether your value is greater or smaller. So in this way you can calculate the absolute error in the sum. Similarly, the second one, you have to calculate error in a difference. Now let's see now error in difference. Suppose we have a quantity x is equal to now a minus b type. Then first of all you have to calculate what? You have to calculate error in the measurement of a. So you can if you suppose error in the measurement of a is delta a and error in the measurement of b is delta b. Clear? Now next one here, what you have to do, just add suppose delta x in the error in the measurement of x. So we can write down the true value, that is x plus minus delta x. Here plus minus is what? Its value can be increased or decreased. Similarly, error in a can be written as a plus minus delta a, because delta a is the error in the measurement of a. Similarly, we can write for b plus minus delta b here. So in this way we can write our equations now. Now let's take our separate here the delta x plus minus delta x. This is equal to now a minus b, you can take one side, then plus minus if you will take, then this time plus minus delta a minus delta b you will have. So I think this thing is now clear. Now next one thing here, two possibilities you will have. Right, you can write here positive sign, and with that one this quantity will be negative quantity. So in this way you can write this one thing also. So here as just now I have written, it is plus minus delta x, and let's just solve it in some simple way. A minus b first of all we have written, then plus minus delta a we can write, and now if minus you will impose, then minus plus delta b you can write. So I think this is now clear. Now in next one case, if you will compare delta x with this one, so delta x is comparing with this case, then delta x can be written as plus minus delta a plus delta b. So after comparing these two equations, as x is equal to a minus b, delta x can be compared in this way, because the four possible values of delta x are, the first possible value of delta x, you can see to delta x has four possible values, like delta x plus minus delta x is equal to plus minus delta a, then minus plus delta b. So the first possible value of delta x is here plus delta a plus delta b. Then second possible value is plus delta a minus delta b. Third possible value is minus delta a plus delta b. Fourth possible minus delta a minus delta b. So here maximum possible error, if you will see, that can be observed only for delta a plus delta b. So we are always taking the maximum possible error. So that's why we can write delta x in terms of this one. So you can see now in our experiments, in our error measurement, in difference, this can be maximum possible error, and that is now equal to the errors in sum also. So simple, whether it is sum or difference, the errors that will be added here, and that will provide you the maximum possible error in your device. Because if you will take difference, then minimum possible error it will provide you, but your device can give you more possible errors. So you have to take maximum possible error here. Now next one, let's see errors in a product. So suppose we have a quantity now here. So if x is equal to a into b, this type of quantity we will have. And again delta A is absolute error in A, delta B is absolute error in B. Then what we can do now, we have to just first write down x plus delta x. This is equal to A plus delta A. Because this is the quantity, errors are this, then true quantity can be write by x plus minus delta A. I told you how can you write the true quantity, the measured quantity to the errors. If you will add or subtract, then this will provide you the true value. So just write it in this form. This is the true value of the. Now after this case, let's take x as the common. So if you will take x as common, then it is obtained 1 plus minus delta x upon x from here. If you will take a as the common, so you will have 1 plus delta a upon a. Then if you will take, sorry, plus minus would be here. If you will take b as the common, you will have 1 plus minus delta b upon b. In another word, you can write it ab, 1 plus minus delta a upon a, or 1 plus minus delta b upon b. So here you can compare now this one terms to this term. So let's compare it now. So on comparing x as it is equal to ab, then this bracket terms would be equal to these bracket terms. let me just grab this one. So we can write 1 plus minus delta x upon x. This is now equal to 1 plus minus delta a upon a, then 1 plus minus delta b upon b. Let's take their product. Then 1 plus minus delta b upon b plus minus delta a upon a, then plus minus we can write delta a upon a into delta b upon b. So if you will see now the last term, as AB, this product is very large in comparison to this numerator, then that time this can be neglected due to its product term. So we have just neglected this one now, and if you will just write this one please now here. So 1 can be cancelled out, then finally you will obtain delta x by x. This is equal to plus minus delta a by a plus delta b by b. So this is the errors in the product. So in this way you can calculate errors in our product format. So students, I think the calculations for these are I think now clear. How many types of errors we have, how to calculate it, how to calculate in sum, difference and product. So later in next class we will see it for the division also. So let's, and powers also. Let's see that in next class. For today let's end our class here.